Welcome to the AR-15 podcast. This show is for you if you just bought your first AR or if you've been building them for years. There is something we can all do to take our black rifles to the next level. My name is Nick Dooley. I am joined this week by my co-host, Garth Over.
I'm here, and so's Lily.
Yay. We have the director of propaganda, Joe.
Howdy.
Yeah, we can hear you. I thought you were doing the "My Heart Goes Out to You."
Yeah.
No, I was
I saw the remote.
Titanic? Yeah, it was Titanic all over.
Max.
Yeah.
Stop looking for Jack.
And then we also have with us tonight a very special guest. We have Sarah, who you may know from a variety of different places. But where would be the most common one be?
Typically you're going to see me on knifehub.com. I'm doing their social media, and then Wicked Trigger Firearms, but my personal page would be My Gun Girl 98 on Instagram.
Right on. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Before we get too much into the topic, and which is going to be, cutting straight to the point, and
what a dad joke.
Oh,
what a dad joke.
They're going to be coming all the time. So,
oh, man.
It's every day with me, so I will match you blow for blow.
Nice.
Gotta stay sharp.
Yeah, I was going to say, you do seem pretty sharp. We'll really hone that skill.
Never a dull moment.
Yes. Garth, did you do anything fun with guns in the last week?
Not like shooting wise. I've been buying a lot of stuff online. As you can see, my shotgun behind me, it has a Riker USA grip on it, and I ordered 2 more of those to put on my PCC and my 223 for competition. So that's going to happen shortly. They're up on my kitchen table. Did a few other things. What else did I do? Man, been spring cleaning a lot, so I've been doing a lot of swapping of optics and stuff. Put my Gideon on my Glock Tendo. Need to go out to the range and shoot that if it ever stops raining, which I hope it doesn't, because it's fantastic right now. And then I can, but I'm a fair weather shooter at this point right now. Right now I'm going to be, because my knee hurts, as my name says, knees the day. I found out I have to go get my knee scoped, so that's going to suck. I don't know when I'm going to do that. Well, I know, but just finding time to go do it is the issue right now, because I know he's going to say, hey, you need more than that, because I probably do need a knee replacement, but no, not right now.
I mean, you got time. I'm going to get both mine done one of these days.
Oh, no. I mean, I've thought about both of them, but I also know that the recovery time is 6 weeks. And
6 weeks?
I live alone, unlike you. I mean, I have my dog, but she's not helpful like that.
6 weeks might be the fastest.
Well, yeah, maybe.
I know guys who've been back at work in 6 weeks.
Yeah, not crawling in and out of tractors or.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to clutch with a.
He needs a big boy. That's gonna take. I mean.
Thank you.
It'll be a little more on that meat.
Yeah, it might be. So it might have to be one after the other, but yeah.
All right, Joe. What about you? You got anything?
Yeah, I went and shot a USPSA match over in Sioux Falls, or right outside of Sioux Falls, on Saturday. We were in town. Wife wanted to go see our niece and nephew, and I'm like, well, you do that. I'm going to go shoot. So that was a lot of fun. Ended up on a squad with a bunch of great guys. I was the only PCC in the match, so I guess I can chalk that up as a win, because I did have a 1 in front of my name on practice score with it.
If you're not first, you're last.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. I definitely still have to get faster, and I know that we talked about that last week from our match, just getting those transitions and being able, and not waiting until I know I'm on target, but knowing when to send it. I had 2 issues where I had trigger freeze. I think it was first and the last stage I did that on, and then I had 1 stage where I completely forgot about. I didn't realize one of the targets was there, and the other one, for whatever reason, I shot it exactly how I had planned and completely skipped that target. So it was a fun day. I would love to get back over there and shoot with them again. I'll probably see a lot of them at the sectional here coming up in May. And then I went out and shot Saturday or Sunday and Monday with the day. I had the day off on Monday, so I went to the range, shot, practicing up, warming up for our outdoor match, Mother's Day weekend with the guard, working pistol at 25 meters slow fire, which is monotonous, but I think it'll make me better all around. And then just doing some of the stages or match stuff that I know that will shoot for the rifle with my M4 clone. So it was a good time. I probably put close to 400 rounds, probably close to 500 rounds downrange with that. And then I got my extensions for my PCC mags. I don't know why. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can beat people with this thing. I mean, here's a 30 rounder. Here's the 30 round extension on it. Like, it's gigantic. It's like 60 rounds. A lot of guys I saw looking around online about gear setup for PCC shooters, they're like, I just run 2 giant mags and you don't have to reload, but then you have some of the classifiers for USPSA where they force you to do the reloads. But we'll see how they run. Hopefully, I haven't practiced with them before we go shoot on Saturday, so
so you don't know if the springs are actually going to hold and stuff like that until you're shooting.
The hold is just whether they bind up or get. Some people said you gotta wear it. Can be.
I'll give you a call tomorrow. Maybe we can go out and try that.
Maybe.
My one day I have this week.
Well, I know you sent me the link for them. I didn't look at it yet because reasons.
Yeah, so they make it's the Gladiator I can't remember. They make a 30. Like they said, this is a 30. They also make a 20.
What was the price on that? Do you remember?
I want to say it was close to $100
for 2 of them or for one?
For one.
Whoa.
Or maybe it was 70 or 80. But the 20 rounder is a little bit cheaper, but they're gonna be. Like I said, I know I won't have to reload here in town.
No.
Here, so.
Okay.
No. Well, I taught a class last weekend, and that's not really that exciting. I just went out and taught another enhanced concealed carry class. Had a unique failure that I am not used to seeing, and here we go. We have our another Michigander here saying, what company was that makes those? So
give me a minute. It's
Joe will pull that up, but no, I actually had a Glock completely.
Yeah, Devin, I have the link. I'll just send it to him.
We had a Glock. Taylor Freelance is the company that makes them. I bought them from Shooters Connection. So, I said it's $99 for the 30, and it's $69.99 for the 20. They come in red, blue, black, silver. So,
yeah. But had a Glock completely die on the range, so that was neat.
That doesn't happen. It only happens to that one company.
No, like this was bad. It completely died. Started out with a bolt action. It became a bolt action gun, and a bolt action handgun is interesting. And just it would fire, extract the round, and it would not go back into battery. You had to hit the slider release every time. And I went, that is different, but maybe just your, it was a Glock 20, so it was a 10 millimeter. And then it just completely locked up, and we got it apart, and the ejector had actually bent and was causing drag on the slide when it went forward.
Huh.
So that's what was stopping it and locking everything up. And it was definitely an interesting thing that I now have parts sitting here to fix it. And I was like, hey, yeah, well, we can fix that, just because I have seen almost every make of gun break over the course of teaching classes, and some of them in spectacular fashion. But I still think the one that might take the cake was the Beretta at the guard comp one. The last year we ran Berettas would have been 2016.
They were notorious for breaking. No.
No, this wasn't a locking block. This was the slide broke in half, and half of the slide went flying forward. And
in fairness, as long as I've known you and we've shot together with the guard stuff, probably not 50-50 on since we've switched to the SIG versus the Beretta, but I guarantee you in our lines that we've been on, there's been more Berettas that blew up that went bad than the SIGs.
Oh, I've seen a lot of stuff happen with SIG's sights flying off and hitting dudes.
Well, I was gonna say the sights flying off because people mess with them and don't tighten them back up.
Well, no, that was just there was an issue on fielding with that. That was the problem. That has since been corrected with an LREC. But
I mean, we saw FNs that you could unscrew the barrel this week or last summer. So
yeah, I saw a brand new FN M4 come in that the barrel was loose on from the factory, like the barrel extension was loose. But that's like super nerd stuff. I do have a new project and thing that's going on because I found a deal I couldn't pass up. So I picked up a used Springfield Echelon. So now I have one of those to play with and do a little testing. But it's why not, right? We'll do something. And yes, Steve, I did in fact make it back in time.
He's lying. It's his twin brother.
Yes, my twin brother. That's it. If I had a mustache, like that'd work.
Yeah, and his name is Dick.
No, it's not the pirate.
I'm not talking about the pirate.
Now, Sarah, did you do anything fun with guns this week?
I'm always doing fun things with guns nowadays. So I did hit the range with my friend Alex from ATEX Training Solutions. So he shoots USPSA on a national level, and he took me out to the range. We were going through some drills. He's a great guy. I highly recommend checking out his YouTube channel. So shameless plug. He did not ask me to say that, but he's a great guy. So that was a lot of fun. But other than that, every day is a fun gun day when you work at a gun shop.
Yes. Well, most days are fun gun days when you work in a gun shop. Gun stuff is fun. Yeah, gun stuff is fun. Customers and sometimes other gun shops are not, because I got what is the bane of every shop's existence in the mail today, and got a package in full of packing peanuts.
Yep.
Because
we recycle those.
Yeah, that's great. I found one that was even worse. It wasn't packing peanuts. It was styrofoam beanbag fill.
Oh, that's the worst.
You got to stock up on that stuff because it's going to go great when we start mixing it with diesel fuel.
Yeah.
Or use it for Krampus.
But no, this was quite literally, it was a 12 gauge shotgun, like an old coast to coast. And it wasn't taped. It was in the barrel all the way through. Like they just poured it in through the action in the barrel and everything.
Oh my goodness. Do you ever call the FFL that it came from to chew them out about that?
So this came from an auction house.
Oh.
And they were just like, I was like, oh, you son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Here's a stupid question, because I don't have an FFL. If I, as a individual, can I sell a gun on Gunbroker and just ship it to an FFL, or do I have to have my FFL ship it to the FFL?
That depends.
That's where you get some people that, I gotta get rid of this.
So there are people. That's kind of up to FFL's discretion. Mm-hmm. Some FFLs will not receive firearms from an individual. Others will. It's, in my mind, it's no different than somebody coming into the shop and being like, hey, I would like you to do this, because you have to bring it in, enter it into your books, register who you got it from. Mm-hmm. But when that happens, everything runs through. It just can kind of be a pain.
Yeah, we have them send a copy of their driver's license for us to look at and enter into our books, so we know exactly who it came from, and we need a a phone number, email, obviously. But like he said, it's like them coming in and transferring it into us.
Same. So you went out and shot USPSA, but if anybody who reads the title of this might see, we're talking about how this is, we're going to cut to the point and really get in, like we said, this was going to be a pun episode, but we should just, kind of get to the point maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're better than me tonight. Oh my goodness.
He's had many years as a dad to practice these skills.
So people will know you sometimes also as like the knife girl or something like that, and you do a lot of slicey and stabby type stuff content. So,
yes, I do.
Why don't we tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, then how you got into the firearm space and the knife space as well, and then we'll talk about stabby and pokey things.
Okay. Always down for that. Okay, so again, my name is Sarah. I was born and raised in Michigan. I still live in Michigan. My dad had guns growing up. We never shot. I always wanted to get into guns. When I was 22, I walked into a local gun range to get my CPL, and I decided that was a place that I wanted to work. And since I have little to no fear of people, I walked up to the front desk and asked them if they're hiring, and they were. So long story short, I got a job there. I fell in love with shooting. I learned how to shoot. I learned a ton about guns. I got out of the industry briefly a couple years later to make a little bit more money, but I missed it so bad that I went to the shop that I now work at to pick up my rifle, and they offered me a job. So one thing led to another, and I hired on as the manager of Wicked Trigger Firearms and KnifeHub.com in Waterford, Michigan, where I still am employed. Yes.
Yes, Dr. Scary Guy, yes.
I am the knife girl. That is the one Aaron is talking about.
Yeah, that threw me for a loop yesterday when I was looking up something. I'm like, I can't find her. And I go back to the chat and I'm like, oh, she changed her name on us when we were going to do the whole episode on knives.
See, I saw you guys coming and I was like, wait, plot twist. No, I decided to go more into the shooting realm with my personal Instagram, and then everything else is on the shop. Social media, I'm still employed by Knife Hub and everything.
Well, so you came into guns and the shooting sports later in life, but that would have been like 3 years ago. So,
yeah, 5.
Okay.
Every year counts.
But it's so did you find it kind of hard to break in and get that content and or like find stuff that when you're like, okay, yep, I want to get into this, like learning things as someone who got into it later? Because like Garth has said, he was kind of always into guns, but it wasn't until like about 5 years ago that I drug you kicking and screaming down the rabbit hole.
Well, I mean, yeah, technically, I guess you could say that.
Because I was like, yeah, I'm a gun guy. And I was like, oh, neat. So am I.
There are so many different definitions of a gun person. It was a lot. I had a lot more easier time, I guess is the right way to say that, getting in and starting working at a range. I mean, I started working at a range having shot a handgun one time. That's how I started in guns. But all the guys were super cool, and then they started teaching me. I shot a ton within that time frame, so I got really good at shooting paper standing still, and now I'm trying to up my game by the moving and shooting.
Nice.
Yes.
And so those guys were cool enough to actually start you on a real gun and not like a Charter, Charter Arms 380, right? Or
no, they put a 9mm in my hand and just said go, basically. Then the 12 gauge. They tried to get me to shoot a Smith & Wesson 500, which I stopped at that one.
Yep. Hey, that works. I love all guns. Even some of the really shitty ones, but it's like as long as you're shooting, I'm happy.
No, we sold a high point that we've had for about 5 years today. We got that off our shelves, so that was phenomenal.
Don't worry, we know a guy who can send you like 5 more.
Yes.
Don't you dare. I told the guys the next high point I see, someone's getting shot.
That's probably what the other one's doing too. So
probably.
It's probably already in the river.
Yep, probably.
Oh, that serial number is gone.
Oh, don't worry.
Off.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing, but there may be more from High Point coming down the road.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
I do a lot of the ordering, and I won't even touch them. No.
Oh, this is like we love the people from High Point. There's some good friends of ours, and I will say their PCCs actually run like a scalded dog.
That's what I've heard. I've heard that they don't have very many dependability issues.
They have always backed their that warranty. I had a buddy way back 10 years ago. We were sporterizing his stock, and I don't know what happened, but it quit working on us. We couldn't function check it. He took it to the local FFL. They looked up gunsmith. They looked at it and like, no, it's bad. They sent it off to High Point. It came back and no cost to him. It was like, heck yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's what Vortex built their brand on was, hey, you can run it over and they'll send you a new one. So I don't know why High Point gets that much hate.
Well, because it has the ergonomics of a brick.
Thank you.
I was just going to say, yeah.
And they're located in Ohio, I believe?
Yes, they are.
I'm from Michigan, so naturally there's
a
bit of tension.
Yep.
They are definitely in Ohio.
That's how we view North Dakota. So yeah,
I bet. Yes. So it's like a sibling rivalry.
And Minnesota and Iowa.
Oh, that's too.
There's another Dakota.
Yeah.
The one where your wife lived or was born.
Oh, that's Canada. She's a.
Oh yeah, you mean South Canada? Yeah, gotcha.
Yes. But so when you went through, you moved through that, then you moved on and got into moving and shooting. So what? When you went through there, did the knives come before or after the guns?
Before. I'm sorry, after. So I worked at the range. I left the range and started working at Wicked Trigger Firearms, and it's also the home of Knife Hub. So when I hired on, it was with the intent to be the manager of the storefront and do all the sales lead and sales manager stuff. And then I took over Knife Hub's social media. And then I got really into it. I went to Blade Show Atlanta last year, and I'm gearing up to go this year. And so I just kind of do the social media for everything, and I'm kind of the manager of everything with the owner.
Right on. So I know I've seen the Knife Hub stuff. I've looked at that stuff on the socials before, because most people who like loud shooty things also like, pointy, slicey, stabby things.
Yes.
And they do kind of go hand in hand. I know that 3 of us on here carry a pocket knife every day. And
yeah, he's right.
Yeah, so we have one host who is renowned for not having a knife on him.
All right, again, let me be frank and clear, okay? I carry
he just
one.
told on himself.
Yeah, I know. I don't carry a knife on my person. I have one in each vehicle. I have one in my house. I have one when I'm with Nick. I have one when I'm with Paul. I have one when I'm with Joe, because you guys have one. If I'm going to the major cities, and I consider Rapid City and Sioux Falls major cities because, well, they're more than 600 people, I will take a variety of knives, which I do have in front of me because we're talking knife girls, so you got to bring the knives. And my favorite is the VZ Grip dagger.
Okay, yes.
So, yes. Speaking of VZ grips, there's some unique features of VZ grips. Did you know they're machined from a solid block of G10? And G10 is great because it's durable and doesn't get slippery when covered with mud, blood, or sweat. 17-degree grip angle through AR grips offer a wide variety of textures from mild to extreme, as well as color options, and shorty versions are available. 1911 grips with extreme customizability, standard slim palm swell, thumb notches, safety cuts, bottom profiles, and more. More than 25 textures and 27 colors are available, and there's one coupon code that is good for 15% off all handgun and rifle grips, and that code is AR-15 podcast.
You're welcome for the setup on a knife episode.
Oh, don't worry. I totally had something ready to go for scales.
That was smooth. Wow. But yeah, the G10 knives are picking up in popularity.
Oh no, they're fantastic. Their pencil daggers are super cool too.
Yep.
And so, I mean, just to throw in the fanny pack when I go to the bigger city, or to have this on my belt. I mean, yes, I'm not really a knife guy, because one, I feel like if I had one and I needed to use it, I'd probably get it taken away and be used on me, because I don't have skill to fight. I'm a big man. I let my size intimidate. I don't want to get in fisticuffs because I don't want to.
No, I will say this.
Your hand-to-hand combat needs to be close, which is same as a guy with a knife.
Exactly.
But I'll say this: I've carried a knife every day since I was like 7, and I've just always had a pocket knife. And like John says here, what do you use as a screwdriver, pry bar, or toothpick if you don't carry a pocket knife? And that's. I have the Rancher's all-purpose multi-tool. When I pull my pocket knife out, and I will straight up, slice cheese with it when we're out doing anything. And I've been known to use it to castrate before, so it's all of those things work. But
I the only meat I cut with mine is steak. So
well, mine is too. It's just a little more rare.
I've watched Nick do all of those things.
Sometimes you need oysters. I mean,
sometimes you do. I can't carry a knife because.
Please tell me, no Rocky Mountain oysters, right? Right? None. You do eat them, don't you?
Sure do.
Oh. Oh. Are they as good as people say they are?
Chicken.
I mean, yeah, it's breaded and fried.
If you didn't know what it was, you'd be like, this is pretty good.
It's as good as tiger meat.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
But no, so I have I know we have people already talking about knives they carry and stuff like that. Like I started with the old timer, like the old timer case, like the 2-blade grandpa's pocket knife.
Schrade that made that one?
Classics.
Yep. Schrade made owns old timer. Yeah. And then like the case pocket knives. I just the timeless classics. I think I've got a drawer full of them upstairs that
we like when I grew up coon hunting, so we had to have when we skun all our own, so we had to have good knives, and they were the charades, the old timers were the go-tos because they're just perfect for that shit.
Well, how many people got a buck knife on Christmas morning? I mean, come on.
Yeah, the old buck 110 folder that's still
the buck 110 folder auto was the talk of Blade Show last year. If I heard it one more time, I was going to scream. And they're cool, but it's another folding auto.
Well, I remember the SHOT Show that they debuted the buck, which they debuted the knife at SHOT Show, not at Blade Show.
Yeah, and everyone was still excited about it at Blade Show. Yep.
And like that was hey, and then then they came out with the slim, the lightweight buck 110 with polymer scales. And so when we get into this and we're talking about knives, we're not talking, the knives that you're showing aren't the ones you find in the truck stop case.
No gas. We have a couple lower end like Kershaw's, but no, we call them gas station knives. No gas station knives.
Yeah. So I carry a Kershaw every day, and I have for the better part of 15 or 20 years. I carried a Kershaw Leak forever. That's
a good knife.
It's great. It's a straight razor with a point. And the only problem with them is the points break off all the time if you use them as a screwdriver or as a pry bar because the blade is so thin.
Yes, it's not meant to be a pry bar, but that's why we sell little pocket pry bars by like Vero Engineering or Vosteed. Wink,
but
wink.
Now I upgraded and I carry a different Kershaw.
Ooh, the Emerson. I see you.
Yeah, Kershaw Emerson because I have lost one or two of those from getting it caught on something, and it hurts way less to lose a $50 knife than it does to lose a $400 Emerson.
Yep, we hear that a lot. That's why you have to keep the mid-grade knives in stock. Like the Civivis have come a long way. Vosteed, Cobra Tech. all great
Yep.
brands. A lot of people shy away from the cheaper Kershaws and Spyderco. Yes, that's a cult following.
I love mine. I got two. I've got this one, and I've got the what's this one? The Delica's, so the Endura.
Yeah.
The Endura was the first real like knife that I started carrying, and I had that thing with me on my first deployment, and it was. I gave it to one of the kids, Fort Hood to cut some, or Fort Drum to cut something. They're like, "Holy crap, that thing's sharp." I'm like, "Why would you not have a sharp knife?"
Exactly. Lots of people start on Spyderco's. I mean, it's very popular. They're well-made knives. They use great steels.
Yeah, this is the Japanese. Which one is it? The VG10 that they use on their Delicas and their Enduros. They're.
So since you mentioned something here, I'm going to bring up, and for people who listen to this and we like shooting, we're going to get into something that's one of Jeremy's favorite topics, and I want to talk about steel. So I will tell you that I have had a variety of different knives. I have a couple, there's some where I'm not sure how to feel about them. I have some D2 tool steel knives, and I know that each type of steel has its own like weak pros and cons, because it might be a harder steel that's higher on the brindle scale that doesn't wear as fast, but it has a harder time keeping an edge, or harder to sharpen, or things of that nature. What is like the best all-around steel that we can look for?
Well, right now, MagnaCut steel is really popular as the Wonder Steel. It's a tough steel while still being fairly hard, and it's corrosion resistant. However, I think S45 VN was also set to debut around the same time as MagnaCut from what I've heard. And so S45 is also a really good steel. But I would say MagnaCut is what everyone was looking at this year. And so far, that's what I've seen. However, it does depend on who's making the steel, their heat treatment process, your application. Like if you have a lot of humidity where you live, you're going to want a highly corrosion resistant steel, whereas other people might not care about that if they live in a drier climate. So basically, when we're talking knife steels, most steels were not originally created to be a knife steel. They were created for other things like automotive engineering and stuff, and then people took them and made them into knife steels. So a lot of times when people ask what's a really good steel, I ask them, well, what are you looking to do with it? D2 for a box cutter to something to have in your pocket is going to be just fine. You're just going to have to keep it sharp. It's not able to take a thinner edge.
This right here is a D2 knife that sits on my desk as the box cutter.
There you go.
If you're gonna have it now, if you're gonna cut boxes, just get a utility knife. The cardboard destroys a blade so fast. The
tape glue will get stuck in there. Also, Cobra Tech came out with out the front utility knives that look a lot like Chavez, the Chubb, but they're a quarter of the cost. And then Civivi has a folding utility knife. The thing with the Chavez, the Cobra Tech out the front utility knives is they take the basic utility blade, so you can easily replace them. Whereas Civivi, you're going to need Civivi's utility blades. But
cost a lot.
Yeah. And cutting cardboard with a knife, don't use a knife you love.
It's fair.
Yep.
I'll use my handy dandy cleaver instead.
Oh, there you go. CRKT?
Yep.
There you go. Yeah, they I don't think CRKT really does a lot of heat treatment on their steels, so they're not the strongest steels from what I've heard, but as like he said, a box cutter, there you go. That's all you need. Perfect. But MagnaCut is your wonder steel of 2024.
Well, we understand there's the new Wonder Steel, but even going back, if somebody's you've mentioned a couple things, and I'm going to say this as somebody who might not know what it is exactly that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Also, I'm going to just say this. I have the Cobra Tech website pulled up because I was like, oh, that sounds interesting to have that.
You should have the Knife Hub website pulled up.
Well, I agree, but this one I specifically wanted to look at the out the front utility knife, and those have an MSRP, so a retail of $90, mm-hmm. and that's actually a pretty high quality out the front knife.
Yes.
So that means that it is stiletto style, however you want to say it. It shoots straight out the front, and then you You can put it right back in and
Yep.
it goes in your pocket. So as I go back and reel back to what I was saying, you're talking about the brands, but we've said like, oh, out the front or folders or things of that and cleaver. We don't need to get into the shape of every blade because like my personal favorite's a Warncliffe.
Yep.
Just because a Warncliffe is a slicer for those who don't know, and the type of knife it is. So most people carry a pocket knife that is a folder. And it's because it's more convenient than carrying a fixed blade that has the same length with a proper sized handle. Am I wrong in saying that? Am I off base?
So it depends on what you're doing. A lot of my guys that are active duty military or police officers, they like a small fixed blade because it's one movement for deployment. They don't have to reach into their pocket, pull out their blade, and then flip it open. So they look for the smaller fixed blades that can be mounted to their gear. But for the most part, people everyday carry, you're looking for a folding blade. Out the fronts, people don't realize that hole where the blade deploys from will fill up with pocket lint and dirt. And so out the fronts need to be cleaned out with compressed air and a light gun or knife oil every couple weeks and worked through to clean out that action because it fills up with dirt. But most people are looking for a folder.
Yeah. So I have fixed blade knives and I've carried them like on my kit when I'm doing Army stuff. Yes, I have, fixed blade knives, and I have some that I was issued. I have one that I still love. It's probably my favorite fixed blade I've ever had, and I still have it. I was issued it all the way back in 2003.
Wow. I was 5. If that makes you feel better.
And you haven't lost it? That's impressive.
Oh, it's really hard to lose this Camillus CQ because it's a
It's probably still in the deployment box, just sitting in the coordinate sand from Iraq.
No, it's in my gun safe. I've used it since then because I've gutted elk with it and stuff like that. It's it's again incredibly sharp, it's not as sharp as it was, but it was at the time it was a ultra high end because Camillus was bought out, knife companies change. And it was, trying to remember, it was, because in 2003, it would have still been a German owned company. Okay. Wouldn't have been through the iteration it is now. And I believe it was like a CQ something was the name of it. But
okay, that's not familiar to me.
Oh, yeah. Well, I furiously Google what it's looking at here. We can continue to talk about other things.
I was going to go back to what Dr. Scary Guy said about his favorite fidget spinner. If my coworkers, when I'm in meetings, actually saw what my hands were doing, they'd probably freak out.
Yeah, I walk around the shop with a knife most of the time.
I'm sure the blade's shown up in camera more than once without me paying attention because I'm always just sitting there playing with it. It's either that or I used to have that one cassette trigger on the desk that I always played with.
My ADD kicks in. I actually have a fidget spinner because that's how ADD I am. So,
and because you don't have a knife on you, so
I have 5 in front of me right now.
At the moment,
or when I get really bored and I pull out the steel and just start mute myself because I don't have the camera on because it's a big meeting, I'll sit there and start sharpening blades. Like,
hey, don't waste the time,
No.
To be fair, to be fair. Both of you guys know why I didn't carry a knife for a while either, because I had a gun that looked like a knife until we had an incident where I no longer carried that specific holster. So,
okay,
I used to carry the North American Arms with the holster that looked like the knife.
Okay, there you
go,
the
knife. And so one day a buddy decided to borrow my knife, and it wasn't a knife.
Oh yeah.
Why was that a problem?
I'm not going to talk about the rest of it.
Because
I'm not going to talk about the rest of it, Joe.
I'm not going to. I know. It's just it would have been okay if it was a gas station.
Well, we'll tell Sarah off air.
Okay, yeah, because I need to know that now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was a whole thing.
It was a whole thing.
I definitely need to know. What do you guys think of those North American Arms guns?
I love them personally. I know Nick hates them, but Nick also has hands bigger than mine, and mine are huge. So,
Oh yeah. So how does that work out for you? I mean, they are tiny.
I make it work.
Okay.
He's
I
used
thought
to,
of getting
he's
one.
used to tiny things in his hand.
Yeah, I have my tiny wiener right back here. Okay, come on, baby, right here. There she is.
Yeah, she tries sleeping. I said, "What are you doing? Why am I flying around again?"
Yep.
Yep.
She's
So this
adorable.
is the combat
Oh.
knife I was talking about. So
Okay. Yeah.
that's my spendy knife, but I was issued
That's a nice one. Okay. What is the handle material? Is that micarta?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. It's a micarta handle, and
Yeah, that'll get the job done.
yeah, in 2003 that was like peak.
That's the value on that thing, and the overall look of it looks a little bit more well made than some of the knives I've seen guys get deployed with. Like they were handing out CRKT M16s to these guys, and those are kind of garbage.
Oh, there's
Well, like anything in the military, if you actually want something decent, you see what they do. Get what like you have your OCIE. They say, "Here's what we're going to issue you." You look at it and go, "All right, I'm going to replace this crap with good stuff." If you actually want to be comfortable and useful.
Yeah, I will say this was also like in the invasion, and they kind of just like money started flowing in, and they didn't know where to put it. And some of us got issued those, and some of us got issued like a survival knife that's a crap. Like it literally had like a 2-pound blade. It was like a chopper. I was like, yeah, I don't need that.
I'm afraid I'm becoming a knife snob.
It happens to everyone eventually.
I mean,
I seem to have pretty practical taste though compared to some of these guys. I love me a good fixed blade though. So.
Yep, having a good fixed blade. What is so of the normal? You talked about like the budget tier, right? Mm-hmm. So we mentioned gas station knives, which if you have stuff that looks like it's in the shape of something else, or like a 8-year-old would think looks awesome.
Yes.
Is probably not going to be. It's going to be made out of the best Chinesium there is.
Yes.
Especially if it comes in a set with a throwing star.
Yes. I have fallen for the budget throwing knives at Tractor Supply. Yes, I picked some of those up.
I also have a set of those. Never used them, but they were cool enough to buy.
Hey, best $10 I ever spent.
Oh yeah. The throwing. Actually, I just went and did axe throwing a couple months ago, and we did the whole cards and the axes, obviously, and then the saw blades and the ninja stars and everything like that. Super cool. I only stabbed myself twice, so
only twice. Wow.
Yeah, only twice. That's why I don't have knives. I'm accident prone with stuff.
Well,
like
I will probably cut myself at least 5 times just taking the knives out of boxes to get ready for a show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I take Band-Aids for me, not the customers.
That's fair. That is fair. But you know how you keep from cutting yourself with a knife, specifically a fixed blade? You put it in a good custom sheath, like custom Kydex from our friend at Klecker Tactical. Are you in need of a reliable Kydex holster? Klecker Tactical is your one-stop shop. Using premium USA source material, Klecker Tactical will build you a holster in a variety of styles and colors, along with light and laser options. Whether you're a law enforcement, a competitive shooter, or an everyday gun enthusiast, trust Klecker Tactical will provide you. Every firearm owner has access to top-tier and personalized holsters, as well as custom products you can't find anywhere else. Use code AR-15 podcast for 10% off.
Well, I did see he did mention he'd make me a sheath for that arrow stabber I have, so excited about that. I actually wanted to make me a sheath for this one because I kind of want to carry this.
No, you definitely need to carry that.
I definitely do.
He can do like a pocket holster for that.
Well, he could. I mean, Nick gave this one to me because he goes, "Hey, man, I have a knife for you. It's right up your alley because it's weird." And I said, "I bet."
No, I didn't say weird.
Oh, okay, unique.
No, I said stupid.
Okay, whatever.
Which is this industry's word for weird.
Oh yeah, well, I take Nick's words with kindness and love. He can say whatever he wants to me. I just hear the love coming out of his mouth to me. So yeah,
precisely. And it's one of those where I'm like, no, this is right up your alley. Like it's dumb. You're gonna love it.
Listen, go on. I'm again shameless plug. Go on knifehub.com to use knives. We just got in a bunch of the CRKTs. We got one of those in, and then there's a minimalist that has the same handle shape, but it's a drop point blade.
Ooh,
that's a good one.
All
it's
right,
like $30.
Check that out. I'll start buying knives because I what else am I going to spend my money on?
And when I say that, that is not a dumb knife. It's just hey, it's a little mini cleaver. Like the Gerber mini cleaver I have is also equally, like, it's probably more ridiculous because it's an actual, like, 2-scale miniature cleaver.
Yes.
I believe you know exactly which one I'm talking about.
Is it a folder or a fixed blade?
Oh, it's a fixed blade.
Okay. Yep. They have many. Yes.
If you would like to know where it is, it's located, like, I keep it on the end table next to my couch for when my wife and I are watching TV and we bring a brick of cheese down. That is my cheese cutter.
That's goals right there. Goals.
Yes, maturing is realizing your wife just wants you to cut her some cheese.
Not to be confused with cutting that cheese.
No, exactly. Like leaving meat and cheese, salty
like
snacks.
The old guy outside the gas station peeling his apple with his knife that probably just got done cutting a radiator hose or something.
Yep.
Oh yeah, 100%.
He can teach you a lot. Those guys can teach you.
So we visited a little bit about this. What are some brands, like what are brands that are slept on for knives and what are brands that are overhyped?
Oh boy, you're gonna get me in trouble.
Well, yeah, that's the point.
So I'll just tell you what I'm hearing in the industry and you guys can decide for yourselves.
Oh,
how's that?
Okay.
So one of the brands that's slept on right now and they're becoming more popular is Vosteed. Now they are Chinese, but we're seeing the Chinese come out with knives that are super high quality and they use premium products and they're at a lower price point. So Vosteed, Kaiser is kind of upping their game. The American line by Kershaw is phenomenal. So the live wire, the out the front that Kershaw came out with, it's almost unbeatable. MagnaCut steel, super strong action, lifetime warranty. The Bel Air by Kershaw is a folder. It's a crossbar locking mechanism. It's like the Benchmade Axis lock, but smoother, I think. So that's a great knife. It's super affordable. They run about $150, but you're getting a great steel, great action, lifetime warranty, a good name. One of the brands that people are saying is a little bit too pricey for what you're getting is Benchmade these days. That's just what we're hearing.
Is everybody still mad at Benchmade? I say that because I obviously from the Klecker, you missed the VZ grip street. We already did that one, but so several years ago, Benchmade is in Oregon, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
They had a local police department bring them a bunch of guns that needed to be destroyed. And they posted to Instagram of them cutting these guns up.
Yep.
And everybody, the gun community collectively lost their mind.
Yes. And some of them, I think, are still boycotting Benchmade. However, there is a very large group of knife lovers that aren't gun guys, and Benchmade caters to those guys. They're more like the outdoorsmen that like to go
bushcraft.
Yes, bushcrafting. They're into kind of like the biker dudes, like the snowboarders and stuff.
The bros.
Yeah, the bros. That's the surfer
knife
dudes.
Bros.
Yeah. And these guys are different than the gun guys. I was just having a conversation with someone tonight, and I was like, the knife guys can be more sensitive than the gun guys, and that's saying something.
Oh no, Dr. Sterling, I got it. The LARP guys.
But Benchmade, I think their price point is a little bit high because other companies are catching up in quality. So I think we're gonna see some maybe restructuring. I'm not sure. That's just what I hear in the industry.
Right on. This is a personal thing, and it's not me like because I have confirmation bias because I've owned them for years. I've always been a big fan of Kershaw because of the price point and the quality.
Mm-hmm.
Then I wanted to be a big fan of Zero Tolerance, which was supposed to be like their more higher end line.
Yeah.
But it's not there.
So some of the Zero Tolerance knives are beautifully made. Some of the ones that they don't make anymore are really good. Sinkovich, anything they did with Dmitry Sinkovich, those are great knives, but not everything. You're right. Not everything is like worth the price point.
Like I don't need shitty tiger stripe camo on my blade.
Why not?
I mean, I could, but generally,
Yes.
I don't care what color the blade is.
Yes, I agree. But no, it kind of depends on what you're into. But what I've seen, Cobra Tech's come a long way. So their parts are made in, I think, Taiwan. They're assembled in Texas. Super great company. I love working with them. They're really responsive on social media. Microtech obviously it seems to be staying in the top dog area because they just keep getting better and they keep coming out with new stuff and they're very competitive. ProTech, if you haven't handled or owned a ProTech knife, I highly recommend. They're phenomenal, hand assembled in California. Just a super fun company to work with. Very innovative, smooth actions. So yeah, there's a lot of up and coming companies.
So you've mentioned all those, and you seem to be very focused on the folder game, and
Yes.
so that is again, I think that's where most people's EDC lies.
Mm-hmm.
What about your fixed blades?
So a lot of these companies make fixed blades, but what I want to see in the shop, and I'm kicking around the idea of getting more Tops knives in because I love their designs. Tour knives, I've looked at them and they seem pretty cool. But most of the companies that I listed have some really nice fixed blades. Like Kershaw, I don't see a lot of fixed blades by Kershaw. Vosteed has a good set of fixed blades. They have a good fixed karambit that almost took off my finger a few weeks ago. That's why Klecker Tactical is going to make me a sheath in the next few weeks. But fixed blades, that's a hard one for me right now to stock because they take up a little bit more shelving space. And it's a smaller group of person looking for a fixed blade, even though they're my favorites.
Everybody's like, yeah, they're my favorites, but
you gotta know your target market, and people want EDC. I carry a fixed blade a lot of times as an EDC, but and then you're gonna get the state restrictions. So if a majority of our customers are online, some of these states have blade length restrictions. So they're gonna be a little bit slower. Yeah.
Blade. So that is one that I know a lot of times don't think about because we live in free America and don't have a lot of the restrictions that other places do.
Yeah.
So like for me looking at it, I'm like, oh yeah, we can have this. I will also tell you that I was I got in trouble in Washington, DC because I had a pocket knife and it got measured to make sure the blade was not over length to be in Washington, D.C. And luckily, it was a Kershaw leak. And I had broke the tip off of it. So it came. What?
I was say I had that happen to me a couple of years ago when we were going to the Vikings game and I had we're walking about halfway up and I'm like, oh shit. My wife's like, what? And I'm like, I still got my knife on me. She's like, that's not that. I'm like, it is a big deal to me because I don't buy cheap knives. I found a little bike rack thing and I stuck it in there and just sat it in there. I come back and pulled it out. She's like, I can't believe that's still there. I'm like, no one who saw me put it in there. But I think they said go to the airports or go to like malls and like check all the potted plants.
Yeah, I've had guys that I work with. They said they did that. They left it there on their trip in the potted plant, came back, got their knife.
Yeah, I've done that. I did that walking into the National Archives. And,
oh boy!
And oh yeah, it was funny because it's like, oh man, like so you go out and I looked in there and I stuck my Kershaw leak that had a broken blade in it, which was lucky for me that time. But as I looked in there, it's like, oh hey, look at that Benchmade CRKT Kershaw. It was a whole bunch of other knives that dudes with haircuts very similar to mine had placed in there.
I love that. America.
Yeah, that's a thing. And when you do that, it's okay, there's a lot of trust, but it's not quite like a shopping session. It's like, hey, what's everybody else carrying?
Right. It's like that band of brothers,
Yep. So are there any designer names that you should think that one should look at if you're looking at a knife, like that goes across a couple different brands? Like I know Kershaw's done a lot with Ken Onion, and I've seen his name on a lot of other knife designs. Do you find that certain designers or bladesmiths cotton more to one style than another?
Oh yeah, you'll see like Dmitry Sinkovich. You can kind of catch his work. Protex worked with him. Their oligarch, I believe, has his blade shape design. You'll pick up on designs. You'll pick up on like an Emerson Kershaw collab. You can see it. Vero Engineering, they just collabed with Protec to come out with their first American-made knife, and you'll see the Vero Engineering in the blade shape and the handle design. So yeah, you'll see, again, I see a lot of Dmitry Sinkovich's designs in the knives we sell and folders. You'll see a lot of, people want to emulate like Chris Reeves. But yeah, there's so many knife makers. Like Tom Brown works with Tops Knives. You'll see his designs in their knives. So yeah.
I heard one brand you haven't mentioned yet, and it's funny to me, and it's Cold Steel.
Oh my goodness, we get asked about that all the time. It's just a big knife company that makes a lot of knives. Some of them are worth a lot of money. Some of them, it's like Kershaw. It's just kind of like, okay, they're cool. They're a little overdone.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And again, so a lot of people have said that our online presence makes our shop look bigger than it actually is, but the actual footprint of our shop right now is a little bit small. We're looking into expanding. So we have a lot of inventory online, but stocking it on the floor in the shop, I don't have any more room right now until we expand. So once we do expand, I have been kind of putting feelers out and seeing which other brands we should bring in, which brands we should expand, what people are looking to buy right now.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask a couple more, just some odd questions as we go through, because knife stuff. So we're talking a lot about like carry knives. So you have like the fixed blade. We had a question. Oh yeah, we had a question about Krampus up there that was already answered. But the folders and things of that nature. I also know that a lot of knife shops also sell, like, get into high-end cutlery and for like kitchen knives, because people don't realize how important that can be for cooking. Like I have a really nice Wusthof knife that I use for everything, and I needed to buy a Wusthof steel to go with my Wusthof knife. So
Okay, yes, I see this. Yes, we hear a lot about that right now. And again, a lot of that has to do with showroom floor space, because cooking knife sets take up a fair amount of space. And then I've talked to some chefs or a couple of chefs about that, and they said they do a lot of research on their own. There's so many different makers. But Gene, the owner of Knife Hub Wicked Trigger Firearms, he has talked about once we expand, getting in more kitchen knives, because there's a lot of home chefs that would love the expensive, really well-made steel knives.
Did you ever, Nick, when we were in Sierra Vista, did you ever go to that knife shop?
the one by the barber shop, like in the little strip mall.
Yeah, that's actually where I got this. But he had all kinds of stuff. He was a pretty cool guy. I stopped in there to have him because I didn't have steel down there, so I stopped in to have my Endura sharpened, and then I was talking to him, and I stopped back in and got this one from him. But yeah, he had all. I didn't talk to him about the cutlery stuff, but he had all of it. But he was dedicated. It was just knives, and it looked like walking into a pawn shop. He just had knives everywhere.
Yeah, it was a very interesting place. I know that it's like you walk in, it's like, I'm all right. This is a thing we do now, and
yep. I would imagine it's a lot when you walk into our shop. Yes, it's a lot. And to answer Dr. Scary Guy, I don't know his name. Yes, the shop used to be Gino's Tools and Guns, and now it's Wicked Trigger Firearms and Knife Hub. It's right off Dixie.
Yeah, so we have a lot bigger presence in Michigan than I realized, but that works.
We're a pretty cool place. Kind of a big deal.
Well, I mean, yeah, Tim Allen's from there, so.
Yeah. What more do you need?
Well, we could start playing the Edmund Fitzgerald, but
No, please don't do that. We don't have time for that.
What's your preference on folders for lockbacks? Like,
I don't really like lockbacks.
Okay, great. This was so you mentioned that we're getting into like the rapid fire question.
Mm-hmm.
Best lockup for a folder.
Yeah.
It depends on how some people get really iffy about liner locks because that puts your finger in the track of the blade when you're closing it. I like liner locks, honestly, but I've worked with knives long enough to know how to do it smoothly without cutting myself. I like Spyderco's compression locks. And then I like a good button lock, but the crossbar locking mechanism seems to be a very sturdy, dependable lock too.
I noticed you didn't mention the dual safety lock from CRKT that they put on.
No, it's trash. I agree with Charles. It's trash.
So I like obviously with this being my favorite knife, the old Kershaw Emerson, that's a liner lock that's like a frame lock as well.
Yep.
But that's
the frame lock, you have to hold it a certain way or else your fingers might be slightly pressing on that frame and it's going to keep that blade in and it's going to be harder to flip it open. Yep. That's what I found for me. It might be just my disability, but I like a good liner lock or a crossbar lock.
Okay, so that's where I was going. That is just things to look for when you're looking at things, because those are important things to look for, kind of like looking for awesome stickers. Do you need awesome stickers? Then you need to check out Sticker Phantom. You can get all kinds of stickers, like our made for you, like our based Bluey or Steamboat Willie. So as these go through, guys, look for those. They're who produce all of our stickers, and you can get yours custom made with 10% off with code ARPodcast. So, yes, as I seamlessly transition into ad reads. But
just keeps getting better at it.
It's just a guessing game of when they're going to show up.
Yeah, nobody knows.
No one knows.
Yeah, least of all me.
Not even Nick. Yeah, he just...
Yes, it
goes. Try to set him up and see if he goes into it or not.
I feel like it's got to be spontaneous for him.
Oh, it has to be, very much so.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it's an art. It's a true art form.
You'd never know when it's going to happen, but according to Garth, you can see it in my eyes when it's about to.
You're about to. I mean, you can see him lining up the squirrel. He can see it in the distance. He's like, I can't wait to chase it.
Yeah, he's got a really good question that's going to lead into an ad.
Oh yeah, 100%. He just kind of gets that little tinkle in it right here.
I saw it that last time.
Yep.
Should have known.
So, is there anything else you think that we have missed that's an important question on knife stuff?
It's typically you're gonna have a knife for every application by the time you're done.
Kind of like guns.
Yes, like guns. I mean, people come in and they're like, "Well, I want to buy a knife." I'm like, well, we have almost 2,000 knives in inventory. What kind of knife do you want? And then we just break it down. Gene, the owner, he's really good at finding their application. Same with handgun, same with any firearm. What do you want to do with it? And then we try to match up the right knife or firearm for your application. Have fun with it. I mean, it's so much fun to learn all this stuff.
It is. I agree.
Mm-hmm. What is? I don't know. Maybe if you mentioned it, I missed it. What is your like everyday carry? Like, what's on your knife? Or do you just like? Is it like what outfit am I wearing today? And then I'll decide what my accessories to go with.
That's for my fixed blade. So if I'm wearing it depends on which belt I'm wearing to carry my gun or whatever. So I pick the sheath kind of has to match the belt. You know, I'm still female. I have to accessorize. But
so when Klecker's making you that, he's gonna have to make you one for the pistol too, so that they can match and have.
Yes,
absolutely.
So I do have a turquoise holster for one of my guns, so I'll probably need a whole turquoise one. I don't know. I'm thinking about going cow print on my Glock.
No.
Pretty soon here, yeah. It's the most unhinged thing I'm going to do with the gun, but I have to do it. It's going to be my signature.
You should see the Garth's Finkel gun.
What?
Yeah. So his. You are familiar with Ace Ventura?
Yes.
Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn.
Oh my goodness.
I can't get.
He's only got half of this joke done. He hasn't finished the other half.
What's the other half?
The inverse.
You're gonna get it. You were gonna get another platypus in the exact opposite colors.
Oh well, yeah. When I have another $1,800 to spend, sure. So yeah, this is my Ray Finkel gun.
Platypus.
Yep, the platypus.
Love it.
And I have a holster that's up in my box right now, which I'm not going to dig out. But it says laces out with the Dolphins logo on it.
Oh my goodness.
Or, Ace Ventura.
I did kick around the idea of getting the platypus and the unicorn color combo.
Oh yeah, cotton candy, love it.
I got my shadow too right now, but that hasn't left my mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
But my everyday carry right now, it's kind of for my folder, it's going to be probably my Kershaw Iridium for my budget carry, and then my Remet Falcon for more of a expensive carry. Expensive for me. I mean, over $100.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, thank you so much for coming on. You've been on.
We can't finish yet.
Oh, that's true. We do have one more thing to do. So for those of you who listened to last week's episode, you know that we have something special happening now.
Don't do it.
Yes.
How do I present?
Oh gosh. Yeah.
So Garth had some equipment malfunctions last week.
I did. It wasn't really equipment malfunctions. It was just I didn't know what I was doing with the board I had. Now I do.
Well, good thing for you, Dr. Scary Guy, because I went back and looked up your answer that you put in on the show because you put it in. And you had that. But, yep, Dirt Racer forgot. Sorry, bro. So we did have a handful of...
we have 5 names.
We have 5 names here.
We had Metatron from Dr. Scary Guy, Ricochet Prime from Dangerous Freedom Arms, Overbolt from Steve J, Harvester Prime from Nathan Shepard, and Hoverride, playing on Override, I think, from Steve J. So what we're going to do, a 1-minute race of these horses, and the winner will get the Otis cleaning kit.
Carthotron.
All right, so and here we go. Okay,
oh, wow. There you go.
Oh man, there's music too.
There's music and everything, man. Joe, you picked a great game here.
I didn't test it. I didn't realize it.
I didn't test it. I just did it.
We do the whiskey group I made gives whiskey away, but there's like 300 people, so you can't even see the individuals.
And they have races like this?
Yeah, or a duck race, or yeah.
Well, I mean, if we're just going to go with what I like, I mean, I kind of like Harvester Prime, but I don't run the combine, so.
Oh, man.
This is going to be great audio for the audio.
It is. Everybody's listening to this going like, oh, God, so I'm going to go here. All right, and now in the lead, we have...
We should have had duly called the race.
Behind this, we have Overbolt coming behind that. Now, coming in at a strong third price, we have Ricochet Prime. Oh, and here in the last 5 seconds, Harvester Prime's making a approach to the front. And look at this as we come up. It is nose to nose, and it is Metatron.
Crap, now I gotta get a shirt.
All right, we will
shut that awful music
off. So Dr. Scary Guy, I believe you had Metatron, and reach out to us with your address and we will send you
some things.
This Otis cleaning kit.
Fancy.
We throw some stickers in there.
Oh yeah, we'll throw some stickers in.
We'll throw some stuff in there. Yep.
And something else used.
Silent Night ones. Have
No.
we sent him anything before?
I don't know. No,
the last one we sent out would have been to AR Drew from Dangerous Freedom.
Yeah, we had like 3 or 4 that night, I thought, but I can't remember because he wasn't one of them.
So yes, Sarah, thank you for coming on and enjoying our shenanigans.
Yes, thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Yes. Where can they find you and all of your content?
So my personal Instagram is migungirl98, and Facebook I'm Sarah Grace. And then anything Knife Hub related is going to be Knife Hub, official Knife Hub on Instagram, Wicked Gun Dealer on TikTok, Knife Hub on YouTube, and Facebook. That's a lot.
Hey, that's the places to find you, so they can get out there and do that. Joe, you got anything to add tonight?
Check out those socials that she just mentioned. Check out ours. Share and like everything that your favorite creators are putting out there. Help spread the word, grow the communities. We fight censorship, so we can't hurt ourselves. Push that stuff out.
Garth?
Yeah, the best way to fight censorship is go to patriotpatch.co for all your patch going needs. If you need PVC patches, if you need tin signs, if you need stickers, I know we have a sticker guy, but they also have stickers. They have some awesome patches, though. Go check out patriotpatch.co. They have an awesome patch of the month club. This is one of them.
The new patch of the month that he just sent the preview out for.
No,
sweet.
I haven't got it yet, but I actually do have that sticker right here as well, Nick. And
no, you don't have the. You don't have it. You have the.
No. I have the Invest in Precious Metals sticker, which I love the sticker. So that's going on my gun wall behind me. So go check out Patriot Patch, patriotpatch.co.
Yes, indeed. So with that, you guys all know where to find us. Like, follow, subscribe, all the things. Check us out on Instagram. Check us out on the YouTubes, and everyone out there. You know what I'm about to say. And that is, remember, you are your own first responder. Expect to self-rescue. No one is coming to save you. And you folks out there, go get training, get medical training, and stay safe and stay armed.